Welcome to Seed to Success, the podcast where we deep dive into the strategies, stories, and smart decisions that help VAs and OBMs grow and thrive. I'm your host, Adrienne Donnelly, and whether you're just starting out or looking for ways to take your business to the next level, you are in the right place. Thanks for tuning in. Now let's get into today's conversation. Hello, today we are joined by the incredible Ash from Emerald HQ, who is a long-standing member of the Inner Circle. Welcome to the pod, Ash.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm excited to chat and get to know you a little bit better so our listeners and viewers can as well. So let's jump straight in and talk about your business and how that has evolved over the years since you've started, because it also includes quite a recent rebrand and rename, right?
Yes, yeah, so it has certainly been a journey, to put it politely. I actually started my business as a resume writer to start with before I did a 3-day challenge with Seed and won my place into the Launchpad, the version that it was at the time, which was 3.5 years ago now, and then started my business as a virtual assistant, but keeping my name of my resume writing business because I didn't know what to call it. But we did focus on hiring and HR admin support. That was our happy place, but did a lot of social media and things like that to pay the bills.
Yep.
And figured things out as we went. But what I was finding was that I wasn't able to have as much impact as I had wanted to have, or that I could have with my knowledge and experience from my background. And so with the second lot of mat leave, I took the opportunity to step back and rebrand a little, not a name change, but reposition what we were doing. So I stopped calling myself a virtual assistant and came out as a hiring and HR admin partner for small and medium businesses around Australia. But obviously, as we grew into that, the name got left behind a bit until we got to the point where I didn't even want to say the name because it just did not align with what we were doing or who we were, who we served, anything. But it has been a long 12 months or so, probably more than 12 months, to actually choose a name and then rebrand. So yes, we're now Emerald HQ. We do hiring, HR admin, culture and leadership support, and now actually finally feel comfortable to step into who we are and what we do. But it certainly speaks a lot to, you can just start and you don't have to know what it's going to look like in a few years' time. You can just start anywhere and see what happens and see what interests you and where you go, and then fix it as you go.
It's a really great point, because I think if you talk to any VA, OBM, online service provider, whichever of those sort of resonates with you the most, one thing is I think that a lot of us have in common is how our business started and what it looks like now, even if that's 6 months, 12 months in, 6 years in, 3.5 years in, it is so different. And I guess that's one of the beauties of running your own business, is to be able to evolve and pivot. I know it's a very cliche word, but to evolve and pivot and grow and go where that business or your audience is telling you they need you to be.
Yeah, it's exciting because, in a real job, and I always do that with quotation marks because our businesses are real jobs.
Yes, for those that are listening on the podcast version, not the YouTube version, Ash is doing the air quotes with her fingers.
Our businesses are real jobs. If you're in an employment role, you're set. This is your role and that's what you do. But for a business, we do get to start somewhere and then follow our interests and see where that takes us. And often where we think we're going or where we start out is very different to where we end up. For me, I have ended up back where I was in an employment role, but pushing further into the areas that I was really interested in but wasn't able to do in an employment role. So sort of extending on what I was doing further into that, as opposed to many people start and they end up in all sorts of different directions because they can. And you can just do that and that's okay. And it's really exciting part of being your own business.
I agree. I want to talk a little bit about your background and how you've utilized what we would refer to as transferable skills. Can you share a bit about what your background was before you started your own business and how what you were doing has been beneficial now in your own business?
Yeah. So I am actually from a recruitment background. So our primary service now is hiring. So it does actually match. And I have a HR and management degree and health and safety studies and all the fancy things, and half a psychology degree that I never finished, but want to when I get some spare time.
I'm not familiar with that concept of spare
No.
time.
No, I do say that in jest, really, because there's no
Mm,
such thing as spare time here. So maybe one day I'll get back to that, because that is a really key part of what we're doing now, is focusing on leadership and behaviors that lead to how we see ourselves as a leader of our business. So it is something that I really want to get back into. But yeah, so I have the degree and the pieces of paper that say I can do this, and 10 years experience around Australia of hiring, HR coordination support in state government, local government, private sector, from working in mango pack sheds and farms through to corporate offices in the city. So it's a range.
And does that diversity in the industries that you worked in when you had quote unquote a real job in your employment phase of your life, does that diversity in the industries that you worked in come into play now with the clients that you service through Emerald
Mm.
HQ?
Absolutely. So I do have two main streams of clients. I have the women in business in general, who we support primarily with leadership, and we have small and medium sized businesses around Australia. But the best part of my background means that we don't have an industry niche.
Hmm.
So we can support just about any industry. If you came to me looking for a high level doctor or something, I'm probably not the person for you.
Sure.
But otherwise, because of my diverse background, it means that our approach is really focused on supporting people to hire and manage and lead based on culture and values, and really focusing on wanting to put your people first to attract them and keep them,
Mm,
as opposed to going, I support businesses to recruit in admin or in IT, or being really set in specific industries.
mm.
We do all of it. It is just focused on those who want to find the right person the right way the first time.
Yeah. Over those 3.5 years since you've had the business and you've
Mm.
grown and you speak now as a we because there is that team
Mm.
with you, what are some of those sort of growing pains or challenges or hurdles that you've experienced as a business owner that's growing a
Yeah.
business?
Funnily enough, though we are a we now, and that is really intentional language that I use there, I do have a team behind me. I have two VAs and three subcontractors who support me with the candidate side of our hiring
Hmm.
support. So I do have that team behind me, but funnily enough, the biggest growing pains probably, which has been consistent throughout those years, has largely been managing my own expectations. I have two young kids. I have
Hmm.
a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I started my business to fit around them. So I started toying with the idea of having a business, or something I could do from home around my child when my first was 4 months old, because I'm a worker. That's part of my DNA,
Yeah.
basically. I like to work, I like to use my brain. Sometimes that becomes an overworker. It's a bit of a balance,
Hmm.
but I genuinely enjoy working. So when people are like, "Oh, so what are your hobbies?" Business?
What do you do outside of work?
I
More
have a
work?
second business.
Start
You know,
another business? Isn't that what everyone's doing?
yeah, what is this hobbies? I don't know. But it means there's always this push and pull, I guess, from both sides of my life, particularly as well with a shift working partner. So he's
Hmm.
week on, week off. So my life fits into those weeks with how present I need to be with the kids, and how present I need to be with both businesses and when we have things on. So sometimes it's not about one side being more important or of more importance or preference than the other or resenting one side. But it's just about working in rhythms and accepting sometimes when I do need to say no to something, when something just isn't my season of life right now. And I say it's been over the years because it's not something we ever completely overcome. It's a cycle and we just work our way through it. But yeah, to name growing pains, that would probably be the biggest thing is that
Mm.
the mental gymnastics of the push and pull of both of those key priorities in my life.
And I think it's really important to call that out because you and I know through our seed
Yeah.
community, both in the inner circle and the broader seed
Mm.
community, how many of the members of that community have started their business for family reasons. Now, that may be aging parents, young children, relocation because of a family member's work situation,
Mhm.
etc. But I think it's really important to call that out to go, yeah, the flexibility can be great, but also that, as you so beautifully put, there is that push and
Mm.
pull, and it's important to be a bit kind to ourselves, as
Yeah.
cliche as that sounds, when you are managing all those different dynamics. And I guess that's where a really great team comes into play. So the business on those weeks where hubby's away, you are
Mhm.
it at home, the business can continue to generate an income for you and
Mhm.
provide a great service to your clients because you've got a great team.
That's right, and that is one of the changes I made, so I've removed myself from the candidate-facing
Hmm.
side of things, like, we do a lot of phone screens, for example, and I was the reason processes were slowing down because I had to be on the phone, but also I
Mm.
have tiny humans demanding my attention and trying to
Hmm.
be on the phone for 20-minute blocks. It just didn't work, and I never want to be the reason that a process is slowed down for a client, and so that was honestly why I brought in a team to start with, so recognizing that I'm part of the problem, but also recognizing that the reason I started my business was to fit
Mm.
around my life. So, what changes can I make so that I can continue to serve the clients that I serve while meeting the needs for my life as
Mm.
well? So, bringing on a team to really fit beautifully in with that. And one of my team is actually another seed member as well. So, it's all worked out great.
Yeah, I think you made a great point earlier around the season of life
Mm,
that you're in. And I can only imagine, as people who run their own business, and that is very much our identity,
mm,
that realization and that incredible self awareness to go, I'm actually creating a bottleneck in workflow. I
right.
can't actually deliver the level of service to my clients that they have come to know my business for. I actually need to step back. Could potentially be a little bit jarring and almost like a little bit, not that there's something wrong, but like the business isn't as reliant on me as what it once was, and how that could
Mm.
affect our ego or our confidence. But I think framing it in that way, that that's what my season of life needs from me, is a really great perspective to have.
Yeah, that's right. And sometimes it's a mindset shift of I'm the problem and I've had to do this to fix this problem, but a mindset shift to go look at how far my business has come, that I am so grateful and have the opportunity to expand my business. And that means that I can actually serve more people because I have team to support me. So
Yeah.
mindset shifts along the way have been a big part of the process. It's definitely not something that I started with. I am what you might call a glass half empty kind
Hmm.
of person. So these mindset shifts along the way in all different areas have been growth for me, you could say. Yeah.
Yeah, we love a good reframe in the seed
Yeah.
community. We always love a good
We
reframe. You mentioned before about the different clients that you serve,
do.
specifically when you're talking about the women in business. When
Mhm.
those clients are coming to you, do you see common themes or common threads between a lot of them around why they're reaching out? They're jumping on your website, they're picking up the phone, they're
Mm.
sending you a DM thinking it might be time for me to bring in the Emerald HQ team. Are there common themes or pain points that those women in business are finding?
It's probably not individual pain points, but more this sense of overwhelm, which is common in most VA roles in why people bring in support for their
Mm.
business. They're overwhelmed by something. But as we spoke about, a lot of people and a lot of women in particular have started their business for family or caring
Mhm.
reasons. And again, whatever that looks like for them. And they've built it as they've gone, which is amazing. It's exactly what I've done. And to be honest, a lot of people that come to me probably see themselves in me a little bit,
Mhm.
particularly on my Instagram. I do try and be rather relatable.
Yes.
So if you're looking for professional content, don't follow me on Instagram.
If you're looking for espresso martini and
That's right.
trial content,
That's
Ash
right.
is your
Yes,
girl.
that is right. So the relatable side of we are real life people
Yes.
living a real life while running a business. And a lot of the time, people, as I said, they built this business as they've gone, which is amazing. But then they find themselves getting off track or they're unclear for their next step. And they find that they've built this business that sees them working more than they ever did, again, in air quotes, in a real job.
Mhm.
And they're not even enjoying it. It's the stories you see where it looks successful from the outside, but on the
Mhm.
inside, they're like, I just want to burn it to the ground.
Yep.
Again, we've seen it a couple of times in the seed community where
Mhm.
people are like, is anyone else feeling like burning their business to the ground right
Yep.
now? And
Yep.
it's such a common thing because we've not really taken the time to step back and think about what we're actually building to build it with intention. We've
Mhm.
just gone with the flow, which again is amazing because I am a really big fan of just starting. You don't have to
Yep.
have it all figured out. You can just start and figure it out as you go. But at some point, you need that stopgap to get in there and say, okay, I've been doing this for a while now. Where am I actually
Mm.
going? And the people that come to me in this space, they're usually the ones that are on the verge of getting a VA or a first employee, or they
Mhm.
might have a couple already, but they're in those really early stages of expanding and needing support in their business. But then it comes to the conversations of my VA completed this work and it was terrible, but I don't know how to give that feedback. Those really base level feedback conversations and real life conversations and managing time and documenting processes and all of those sorts of things because they've just built it as they've gone.
Mm.
And so they come to me because they're so overwhelmed. They've got a giant to-do list and they're like, I'm growing, but I'm stuck and I'm working so much and I don't really know what my next step is. So in that space, we're literally teaching them how to position themselves as the leader of the business and let go of the things underneath them so that they
Mm.
can let go of some of that overwhelm and actually focus on why they started their business in the beginning, which, as we spoke about, is largely for caring roles and being present wherever they're needed in real life
Mm.
instead of working 50, 60, 70 hours a week instead.
Yeah. I've heard you talk about a three-part
Mm.
framework. Could you tell us a little bit more about, and is that sort of scenario when those clients come to you, is that something you would start to implement with them, that framework?
Yes. Yeah. So our leadership community that we have is largely based on this three-part framework. It's about knowing where you're going, saying yes like you mean it. So setting clear boundaries and stopping doing it all yourself,
Mhm.
basically. And again, it was because I was finding people were saying things like, you are killing it. I've seen you on socials. It looks like you are absolutely smashing it. But I didn't feel like that. Like I was more satisfied than I'd ever been in an employment role. And I was super thankful that being in my business meant we'd made it through winter bugs and stuff like that in the
Mm.
house without losing my job. But I wasn't actually engaged with my business. I was just going through the motions of it, which again is where a lot of people see themselves in me because I talk about these things. And so they're like, oh, I actually relate to that. And I had a clear understanding of why I had started my business, in terms of being present for the kids and that sort of thing. But I had to get really clear on my vision and not just the why behind why I'd started, but why I was doing this work. Not just why didn't I stick with resume writing or VA work that I could have continued doing, probably for less hours and brain intensity, But going further into why I wanted to do this work and why that was important to me, and further again into what I wanted to be known for and what did I want people to feel when they worked with me. So that's all part of knowing where you're going. And as we
Mm.
said, you can just start and figure it out as you go. But at some point, you have to stop and go, okay, where are we
Yes.
actually
That's
going?
only going to potentially get you so far.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because you may be, as we said, super successful,
Mm.
but there's no clear path. So you're sort of going left, right, backwards, forwards, left again in all different directions and never really reaching your version of what success looks like because you're so distracted. And I say that because success is different for everyone. I'm never
Mhm.
going to be the sort of person that's based on a six figure, those
Yeah.
those number based things. Success is different for everyone, but you never really reach that version because you're not clear on where you're going to get there. But then when you are clear, you can also help set boundaries and be really clear on what doesn't serve you, what is not
Mm.
going to help you work towards that vision. So, what you can say no to comfortably and without guilt, because as women in business, we are so good at just saying yes to everything. But with every yes, you likely have to say no to something else because there's only so many hours in a day.
Yeah. And
So
often that no is to yourself, to your own
that's
health, to your
right.
sleep, to your friendships, to those things that are you based, not everyone else based.
That's right. It's always the first thing to drop, again, particularly for women
Yeah.
in business. And I know I have been guilty of it myself.
Mm.
That is usually, when I start to go, okay, you're not getting enough sleep right now. That's when I need like a check in again with my vision to be like, okay, this is what we're actually doing. And this is all the things you've said yes to that you didn't need to. Let's get clear again and refocus. Because when you do that, then you can say yes like you mean it. It sounds super
Mm.
late. You get to say yes and actually mean
Mm.
it. And then when you have your vision, you can say you have your boundaries. So you can say yes like you mean it. If you're still the one doing everything, you have no time anyway to work towards that vision. So
Mm.
then it's about automating and streamlining if you don't have the funds or the capacity or not wanting to. Some people don't want to bring on team members. And again, we get to do whatever we like in business. But how can they streamline things so everything's not so manual and time consuming? Or if they are looking to expand, even if it is bringing on a VA or outsourcing their social media or whatever it is, how can they stop doing it all themselves? And when you put all of them together, they've actually built with intention a business they actually enjoy so they can have a life they actually love and actually meet the reason why they started their business.
Yeah, I think it's really powerful because I think that framework, often we talk a lot about boundaries, or we talk a lot about not having to do it yourself, or we talk about the vision. But I think those
Mhm.
three all paired together, as you said, it creates a bigger picture for your business that then flows directly into your life. And I think as women in business, that boundary piece is very important, but knowing what the vision is, then you know
Mhm.
when something comes across your desk or your inbox, you can go back to that vision. It's like, does it align? If it's
Mhm.
not a yes, then it's a no. And
Yeah.
thanks, but no thanks.
Mhm.
You can be really clear on what
Mhm.
opportunities or collaborations or partnerships you can say yes to.
That's right. And it becomes easier to do that without guilt as well.
Mm.
That's something we really carry with us, again, particularly more as women in business. And the guilt that comes with saying no, or the guilt with saying not right now, or I don't have capacity. We always feel that, oh, maybe if I just dropped this, I could fit this in. But if it doesn't serve us, we can go, actually, that doesn't align with me right now.
Mm.
Even if it's just here's some alternative suggestions or
Mm.
whatever, but you're not having to feel guilted into saying yes to something that really doesn't align with you because you're really clear on your vision and what
Mm.
your boundaries are to meet that.
Yeah. It's super clear to me that you have a very strong, in depth understanding of the life of a woman in business.
I hope
Um,
so.
you definitely do. Absolutely do. So many of the things you said, I'm just like, oh my gosh, yes. Can you talk to me about how that kind of understanding and genuine interest in supporting women in business has led to your second business with Emma.
Yes. Yep. So in all our spare time, we started a second business.
Mhm. As per
Uh,
previous conversation about
yes.
spare time.
Yes. So funnily enough, Emma, my business partner, she and I are two of the few based in Perth. We are
Mhm.
growing slowly. We're going to
Mhm.
take over eventually.
Yes.
But we actually met for a coffee catch up. We'd spoken online before. We'd had vague conversations previously about, oh, we should get coffee, and never really followed through until finally Em and I and one other person met for coffee. And we sort of expanded on from there. But what we found was that those opportunities for in person connection didn't really exist for us. Like we
Mhm.
had built our businesses based on being online. Em is quite
Mhm.
remote. Her business wouldn't operate any other way. And for me, because my kids are so young, it is about being present at home. So I don't want to be on the road. I'm work remotely. So our businesses have been based on being online, but we still were missing that in-person connection. Like we each have full lives of friends and family and things like that, but no one who really gets what we're going through in this business owner journey, really.
Yeah.
And like I'm based 40 minutes south of Perth, and Em is not that far. She's about half an hour away from me, but further away from Perth. And for us to attend events in Perth became a full day thing,
Mm.
which when we're trying to fit business around kids, we can't afford to take a full day out of our business that often to have those connection points. And there was nothing south of Perth, really. There had been in the past, and there wasn't anything other than your formal networking that's at 7:30 in the morning
Mhm.
when we're trying to get kids to school, or it's at 5:30 to 7 at night, which only works when my partner is off work. So we were missing out on so many opportunities because they're not designed for women in business who are juggling everything. So we created it.
Perfect.
Yeah, it didn't exist, so we created it. And it's literally just about the human side of, we don't really even like to call it networking, but it's about bringing women in business together for conversation, connection, and community. Those points that we miss out on in being solo businesses or working from home, because we do have some employees in our
Mhm.
circle, but they work remotely or casual, or they're disconnected from a traditional workplace. So yeah, it's in-person events, it's coffee catch-ups, co-working days, lunch and learn so that we can expand on our business, and ad hoc events like International Women's Day, International Co-working Day, anything else we can think of, really. But it's really about bringing women together who may otherwise feel disconnected because they can't get to a lot of the events. And again,
Mm.
our personal experiences and journeys have really led to this. We actually often joke about it when we meet up, that we've just done it for ourselves and they get to come too,
Yeah.
because we needed this.
That's a good point. If you guys needed it, you and Emma needed it, then,
Mm.
there's a strong chance that there may be one or two.
Mhm.
Well, it's proven that there's way more, but one or two other people that might be like, yeah, I'm on the same page. I'm really craving that in person.
Mhm.
Often we lose that when we transition out of an office environment, a
Right.
corporate team environment, those
Mhm.
sorts of things, and that they're not available to us anymore.
That's right, yes, or to maintain them, as we said, it's a full
Mm.
day in the city, for example, which just isn't possible for us, really. It's not sustainable. We'd have to take too much time out for us to be able to do that, and so
Yeah.
things more locally, and we are very low key. A lot of the events in Perth, you feel like you need to buy a $1,000 dress just to be allowed
Yes.
room. That's not us. We are, I mean, Em lives on property, so, it's very much come as you are, whether that's in jeans or a dress, like, it does not matter. It's
Yeah.
about welcoming and inclusive and just bringing people together to be able to connect and build a community outside of a traditional workplace that they would otherwise miss out on.
It's incredible what you've both built, and hopefully you do feel proud of the Secret Women's collab, because Even just from the outside, obviously I've not been to any of the events, but it does seem like a extremely well-connected, very open and welcoming community, just meeting people where they're at in
Mhm.
that season that they're in.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and if that means bringing kids
Mm.
along, if that means being late, or we've had someone come straight from the airport, we've had people rock up with kids, and it doesn't matter. You can still come and you'll still be welcomed in. So it's not really about us, but about the people in the community that make it really amazing, because
Yeah.
everyone is there for the same reason,
Mm.
and that is to build a community of their own. So anyone that's new that comes along, they leave feeling more connected than they arrived, because everyone in the room is trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
There's no, we're just here for the Insta story. It is really about that connection, and it's a really genuine approach. And we are really proud of our community. It's amazing.
Yeah. You mentioned, we talked a little bit before about the rebrand you've just gone
Mhm.
up. With that now behind you and fully implemented and all the emails
Yeah.
connecting and all of that,
Yep.
what's coming up for you next in your business that you're excited about or you're looking forward to?
Well, after so much change this year, we are slowing down a little.
Yeah.
We're not looking to make any more big changes at the moment. It's really about streamlining our own processes in our business and just really get out there as Emerald HQ, really leaning into what we do offer and being really clear on our messaging. We've been working to define how we make it easier for people to work with us. Previously, we hadn't really defined it very well, so people thought they had to have bigger budgets to work with
Mm-hmm.
us. So we're
Okay.
really defining how people can work with us through DIY, done with you and done for you approaches,
Mm-hmm.
so that, similar to Secret Women's Collab, they can come to us wherever they're at in business and know that we can support them. So for Emerald HQ, it's really just about just staying for a bit and potentially having some time off over Christmas. I know, I can't believe how fast that is coming up, but
Mm.
having some time out and getting some space to get really clear on what we do offer and how we offer it. So it's
Mm.
really about streamlining at the
Yeah.
moment. And for Secret Women's Collab, we're in planning stages for all our 2026 events at the moment. It's another thing that sort of ebbs and flows and pushes and pulls is, Emerald HQ sort of quietens down a bit as we just embed everything we've been working on, and Secret Women's Collab increases a bit while we plan the first few months of the year. But it is, and we're also working on our back end processes for Secret
Mhm.
Women's Collab as well, which is really exciting because it's proving that we are setting up for several years to come, and we
Mm.
are building it for sustainability instead of, like many of us, just starting it and seeing what happens.
Mm.
Now we're going, okay, we've been doing this for a year now, let's lock in.
Yeah,
So it is
incredible.
really
And you're
exciting.
also, in terms of Emerald HQ, looking at
Mhm.
partnership opportunities. Do
Mhm.
you want to say a little bit to what that kind of partnership looks like?
Yeah. So I do partner with HR consultants, general business consultancies, accounting consultancies, those sorts of things where they get really diverse clients. And rather than wanting to refer their clients to other businesses, they're wanting to manage everything in house. And so
Mm-hmm.
we partner with them to offer hiring and HR admin support to their clients. So we come on basically as a business partner with these other businesses, and we have done several of those this year. And honestly, I've really loved it. It's a really good way of working with all different sorts of businesses. And I'm a firm believer that there's enough out there for everyone. And so it's not a competition. I actually want to support other businesses to support their clients. Coming on as a partner lets us do that. So we are looking for more opportunities to support those sorts of businesses in 2026 as well.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the pod. It's been, yeah, really lovely to get to know you better and to be able to share more of your story with our listeners. I think, as I said, you have an incredible understanding of the life of a business owner, specifically a woman in business and a really great self-awareness and understanding of yourself as a business owner, which I think is, yeah, super admirable. So if people are keen to learn more about you or the business that you have with Emma, where is the best place for them to jump on and get to know you a bit better?
For Emerald HQ, you can find me on LinkedIn for the professional content. We do a weekly newsletter on LinkedIn as well as regular posts, of course. But on Instagram, I still do the professional content. But as we said, there's a lot more espresso martini vibes, and I am hiding in the bathroom away from my children, kind of, the authentic side of being a business owner, juggling all the things. And of course, you can see more info on our website at emeraldhq.com.au. And for Secret Women's Collab, you can find us on Instagram. And we do have a Facebook group as well if you are based in Perth, so that you can see all of our events.
Incredible. Thank you. We'll include all of that in the episode description. Thank you again, Ash. It's just been so lovely to chat with you. And I very much hope you get some time off over Christmas.
I hope so as well. Thank you so much for having me on. It has been great.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Seed to Success. Make sure you are subscribing so you never miss an episode. If you know a VA or OBM who might benefit from this conversation, be sure to share it with them. Let's chat again soon.